Good evening, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel. Welcome to CBS Sports' exclusive coverage of the road to the Final Four. We will see if there are any Cinderellas in the field tonight as we continue with NCAA tournament first-round action in prime time. I am joined by my partner, Clark Kellogg, who is always along for the ride. Take a look at some of the games that we have in store for you this evening. Top seed Michigan State will face Valparaiso. Top seed in the West, Arizona, will be meeting Jackson State in our later set of games. Some of you will get a chance to see number 2 St. John's against Northern Arizona, and UCLA will be taking on Ball State. Turning now to highlights from this afternoon's games, Kentucky and St. Bonaventure played to an overtime thriller.
3 big ones, baby. Oh, gotta watch the play. Bogus with a long shot. Oh, God. We got a second overtime. So the Bodies need a 3-point basket here. 5 seconds to play. Here's Wynn for 3. It's out. No good. Oh, the Bodies so close.
Creighton Auburn, Mark McGadney's three-pointer put Auburn up 4, and Auburn held on for the victory. Southeast Missouri State, LSU, time winding down. LSU's Brian Bashara hit the 3, and the Tigers were up 3.
Bounced a bunch, 9 seconds left, wide left, bunch, 7-6, and LSU to steal. Now Roderick, a 3, top of the key, in and out. Rebound LSU, and the Tigers survive. The Tigers survive.
And Dayton-Purdue came down to desperation.
What they're doing. Here comes the toss in. They get it to Morris. He'll shoot it up from half court. It's up. It's no good. And Purdue has won the game. 62 to 61.
And some of the other finals from earlier today, Syracuse beat Samford, Iowa State by 10 over CCSU. Texas beat Indiana State. Oklahoma knocked off Winthrop. And Clark, no surprises in today's game so far, but good basketball.
With the exception of Oklahoma and Texas, all of your higher-seeded teams went on in advance, but all of them got tested in some form or fashion.
You're very perceptive. The road to the Final Four will continue after this word from your local station. Coming up, we'll send some of you to Salt Lake City for the tip of Jackson State, Arizona, while everyone else will see the tip-off between Valparaiso and Michigan State over in Cleveland. For those of you slated to see Gonzaga against Louisville, we'll get you to the tip of that game at 7:50 Eastern Time. And for those expecting Iona against Maryland, we'll get you to your tip at 7:55 p.m. The madness continues. Enjoy the games, everyone, here on CBS.
The number 1 seed in the Midwest region is on display tonight here at the Cleveland State University Convocation Center. The number 1 seed Spartans from Michigan State with a glittering record of 26-7 take on the 16th seed Valparaiso Crusaders at 19-12. Earlier today, Kentucky in double overtime beat St. Bonaventure, and Syracuse rolled over Samford. Hi again, everyone. Kevin Harlan alongside John Sunvold. 3 consecutive Big Ten titles for Michigan State, led by a trio as good as any in the country.
Now, the trifecta was landed by Tom Izzo when the guys from Flint showed up. The leader, Cleaves, the solid, consistent player, Charlie Bell, Big Ten co-player of the year, Morris Peterson.
And Valparaiso, a team which is coming in, winners of the Mid-Continent Tournament, a team with a lot of emotion.
And well-balanced. They're a good scoring team, good defensive team. Lubo Spartan is the guy to watch for this ball club.
Now let's take a look at the starting lineups for both Michigan State and the Crusaders. Barton, Jenkins, Gross, Nunes, and Totley for Valparaiso. Peterson, Granger, Hudson, Bell, and Cleaves for the Spartans of Michigan State. Homer Drew is in his 12th season as the coach of the Crusaders. And over on the Michigan State side, Tom Izzo, now in his 15th season. 5th season as the head coach, an assistant with Judd Heathcote before that. So he is dyed in the blue with the Michigan State colors. Curtis Shaw, Tom Lopes, and Olandis Poole are officials tonight. And as you take a look at these two teams, Michigan State has played Valparaiso 3 times. All 3 meetings taking place in the 1920s.
It's a big scoring ball game there, 22-12. Most of these players probably don't remember it.
Probably not, no. But nonetheless, we'll put it out there, and we are underway with the top seed Spartans and Mateen Cleaves feeding to Morris Peterson for 3.
Michigan State yesterday in practice, all business. Odds-on favored by a lot of the experts, so-called experts, to take home a championship this year. They'll open up man-to-man. Valpo was in a 2-3 zone.
Totley feeds to Nunes. And then outside for Barton, who planks it off, fetches his own loose ball, and Gets another shot clock, and outside the Jason Jenkins shot won't go, and Cleves the other way. Quickly to Granger. Good swirling catch at the other end.
Well, how about the pass? Cleves, one of the best floor generals, obviously in college basketball. Threw it over the top, head up, eyes up.
Right off the bat. A timeout taken by Valparaiso, trailing top seed Michigan State by 5. Well, a timeout. John Sunvol just seconds into the ball game by Homer Drew of Valparaiso.
Well, I think the timeout was saying, hey, let's tighten it up mentally. This was a loose ball club warming up. Homer Drew wanted him to be loose. Two quick scores by this Spartan team, but I think he got him in the huddle and said, hey, the fun's over, guys. I mean, we're going to enjoy this, but let's go at it.
Totally doubled. Hudson came out on him. Here's Nunez, picked up by Cleves.
Spartans are outstanding defensively.
Jenkins works the perimeter. Here's Nunez out of the Minneapolis suburb of Eden Prairie, missing the shot there. Rebound by Morris Peterson.
2-3 zone by Valparaiso. Their strength on the defensive end.
Charlie Bell. And the first miss tonight for Michigan State. Nunez brings it down. His dad played at the University of Minnesota. Here's Dwayne Totler. And a traveling violation. Totally and Nunez were in the same backcourt at that high school in suburban Minneapolis. Coming up next, 10th seed Gonzaga will take on 7th seed Louisville, and then Iona will take on 3rd seed Maryland. The Terrapins are loaded.
And the Zags are dangerous once again. Surprised they were 10 seed.
16 seed a year ago with Don Monson as the coach. There goes Cleves to Bell to Peterson. Good screen by Granger. And the rebound is hauled down by Lubo Spartan.
Now Valpo's getting last two possessions what they want. Out of Michigan State. Jump shots, a miss, you get the rebound.
And Stovall takes it into Bell, who draws the foul for Michigan State. That's the first on him. Valparaiso, Indiana, enrollment about 3,600 students. And receiving the bid by winning the Mid-Continent Tournament. Stovall from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Feeds to Barton, who tried to swing it down the lane and was aiming for Cross. Out of bounds it goes. Off of Michigan State and out of bounds. The Crusaders will inbound the ball.
Well, Stovall in the lineup in a hurry. Starter last season, starter the first part of this season. Solid score. Valpo does a nice job in their offensive end by good, solid balance with their scoring, good spacing. Got to find their open shooters tonight, though.
Shot clock at 6. And Stovall slips as he tried to create. Jenkins over Granger, can't get it to go. Rebound inside is put up by Barton with the whistle and a foul called on Michigan State.
Yeah, Lubos, good-looking sophomore, 6'8", 225. Tournament MVP.
Charlie Bell just picked up his second personal foul for the Spartans.
Well, quickly we'll go have a seat, and not happy, player or coach. Player doesn't want to go over there and sit for the rest of the half either.
Freshman Jason Richardson is coming for State. And here's Nunez on top. With about 2.5 minutes gone. Stovall for 3, and the first Valpo shot tonight. And above the arc goes in. It's 5-3. Spartans on top.
The Spartans will quickly push the ball on top of the defense. Got to be ready.
Ranger missing the 3. Rebound is corralled by Jason Jenkins from Peoria, Illinois.
Well, I'll promise you, Tom Izzo not happy that the Spartans are going to settle for early jump shots in their offense.
Stovall triple teamed and puts up the shot. Missing there. Rebound by Hudson. And Cleves, All-America first team a year ago, third team this year, driving down the lane. And rebounded inside by Jenkins. And here's Stovall the other way, sifting through traffic and reloading the offense for Valparaiso. Now down the lane to the hole, and the runner won't go. Peterson is there.
Well, good tempo to this game so far.
Michigan State's kind of tempo, but they're not hitting, and they got these shots.
Well, so far in their half-court offense, it's been one pass and then shoot. Everything from the outside, they've yet to test interior defense of this Valpo team.
Richardson to Peterson. Coming up, Iona against number 3 seed Maryland. Cleaves missing from outside. Grants missed it, and Jenkins picks it up, and Valpo the other way.
Well, how about Valparaiso? One and done so far. They basically allow one shot. They're blocking out well, getting a rebound.
That's what they need to do to survive in this one.
Now what they'd have to do is find Barton on the offensive end.
Valparaiso leading and rebounding 8-4. Jenkins picked up quickly by Hudson. Shot clock down to 15. Stovall started as a freshman. Outside, Lubo Spartan finds Nunes, takes the 3, drives across the lane. Barton inside, whacked by Granger. Shot won't go. Richardson there to clean it up. The Spartan
Have to make the opportunity. Connect.
Richardson flying in, going right up against Groffs, and a foul called on Rydas Groffs. His first. 15-19 to play here in the first half. With the top seed Michigan State against 16th seed Valparaiso. Groffs picks up his first. And last year's top player in the state of Michigan from Saginaw. And a McDonald's All-America, Jason Richardson, in the game because Charlie Bell's on the bench with a couple of fouls.
Explosive player. Spartans' first point in about 4 minutes. Richardson plays above the rim on the offensive end when he's running the break. Solid defensively.
Now they bring in Ivan Vujic from Split, Croatia. And also coming in is Torrance Price from Junction City, Kansas.
You know, what's interesting about this team, Vujic and Stovall, starters a year ago and starters early in this season. And we'll finish this story when we come back.
But it gives them some depth.
Yes, it does.
Which they need. Michigan State on top, 7-3. Sunvold here in Cleveland, Ohio, first round. Every higher seed has won their game today, 8-0, so no big upsets, although we almost had one with 5th seeded Kentucky defeating 12th seed St. Bonaventure in 2 overtimes.
Now going back to Homer Drew in this Valpo ball club. Stovall, Vujic come off the bench. Homer Drew made a decision. They're 1-5 in conference play. He took their second and third best scorer. Those 2 guys put him on it. Inserted Gross, inserted the walk-on junior totally. All sudden went for defense. He did set the one that only about 59 and 13. Kevin, not easy for a coach to take 2 starts, making them into the team better. They did.
Hudson trip team made all the Richardson comes out of it with the ball. Adam Ballinger is a game, the freshman from Bluffton, Indiana, for the Spartans.
And can see defensively as 2-3 zone. They will trap along the sideline, along the baseline. They will trap out of this 2-3 zone.
Cleaves to Richardson, shot clock at 5. Inside Hudson, outside Cleaves, and a traveling violation on Cleaves.
You know, Spartans a little bit out of sync since the first time out, the 19-minute mark.
They began so well, too, in 45 seconds, a quick 5 points, and it looked like they were going to rush shot over Valparaiso.
And right now, the Crusaders just trying to find a way to get the ball in the hole, only 1 of 11.
Michigan State hit their first 2. They've gone 0 of 5 since. Valparaiso is 1 of 11 shooting in this game. Out of bounds, that one goes. Off of Valpo.
And it's been the type of game Michigan State wanted. Make Valpo miss, try to get it out and run. They have not been able to run, and in their half-court offense, they have not been very efficient so far.
Peterson picked up by Totley, driving across the lane and launching the runner. Ballinger right there, absorbs the ball and fouled as he went up once again. And tagged by Totley.
Well, Totley, the player we talked about. Since he's been in the lineup, 12 of 13 ball games have been wins. You'll see him pick up the foul there, pretty active hands.
And he's a walk-on.
Yeah. He's been a solid performer. All-tournament team in the Mid-Con tournament this past weekend. Had 14 in the title game against Southern Utah. 9-point victory by this Valparaiso team.
There's Ballinger at the free throw line, a decent free throw shooter at 76%. And find out who's in the starting lineup for your favorite team and link to individual player pages. It's all in March Mayhem at cbs.sportsline.com or America Online keyword CBS Sportsline. Aaron Thomason comes in now. He's from Detroit, a senior, a transfer from Oregon State. And the field goal shooting by both teams horrendous, especially for the 16th seed Crusaders.
Well, Thomason in the lineup, the emotional leader, gives this ball club a little spark. A very vocal player. We saw in practice yesterday, in warm-ups tonight.
Torrance Price in the game. And also Vujic. And on top to Toby. Feeding to Stovall. Screened by Vujic and trying to go inside a very congested area, and a foul is called. And they put it on Chappelle. Mike Chappelle, the transfer from Duke, who struggled to shoot early in the season, then kind of saw his shot come around as the season went on, as Charlie Bell is back in and Cleves will take a breather.
Actually, things starting to shoot the ball well. Yeah. 13 of his last 22 field goals he's made. 7 of his last 13 threes. So that is a piece of the puzzle that would be very effective if he keeps his jump shot going throughout this tournament.
Lost by Vujic inside Richardson, digging for the ball, and a whistle and a foul. And Vujic will pick it up. Vujic is from Split, Croatia. Played for the Croatian junior national team and a transfer from Vincennes Junior College.
An extremely aggressive player. Likes it rough. Good passing.
Granger inside to Chappelle, who collapses, and that's a turnover.
Well, if Chappelle handles it cleanly, he has 2 teammates open for a layup. Defense shifted. Didn't quite get a handle on it.
Granger's game has improved as the season has gone on.
Well, it really has, and they need him to step up. And not only has he been known as a shooter from the outside, but solid defensively, been a better rebounder this season. Challenged by Tom Izzo about midseason, took him out of the starting lineup for a while, then put him back in. In the last 12, as a starter, last 12 ball games, he has been solid.
And Jonathan picks up the foul. Right now, Valparaiso is on pace to score 17 points. They are 1 of 11 from the field, 1 of 5 from three-point territory as Bell gets the Granger screen. Richardson back to Bell.
And only down 6.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Well, their defense is quick to the ball.
And they're using a 2-3 zone.
Have used it exclusively, but they've trapped out of it, which has frustrated Michigan State. Good defense again.
Ballinger from Richardson, and Ballinger throws his weight around. Barton grabs the loose ball inside. 12.5 to play in the half. As Barton sifts through traffic, feeds to Stovall, the hesitation, and the floater inside. Rebound by Ballinger of Michigan State. Charlie Bell, the hesitation, and flips it outside. Richardson for 3.
Good spot up, good penetration by Charlie Bell, who's back in the lineup with 2 personal fouls. With the injury to Cleves early in the season, Charlie Bell had to handle the point guard responsibility, made him a better player, understood the offense a little better.
He worked on his ball handling this summer to get that proficiency in running the point. Little did he know that he'd actually have to use it. But he feels he'll play point guard beyond college basketball. Here's Bell's pass to Ballinger, who swings it over to Richardson. And the ball movement now for Michigan State seems to be better that Bell has come into orchestra.
Yeah, ball movement and body movements. Just can't stand. Gotta move the basketball, move your body, make the defense shift.
Shot clock is down to 12. Bell getting trapped and fires a 3. Richardson had it, lost inside, and Vujic comes up with it, and Valpo the other way, the 16th seed. Began the season 2-6, finished 19-12, and Vujic with the travel right there. Valparaiso 1 of 13 and down by 9, 12-3 to the top seed. Kevin Harlan and John Sunvold. Michigan State is on a 7-0 run. Yet, John, they are 1 of their last 9 from the field. One of the strange statistics at the beginning of this game.
Not shot the ball well. It gets his own. Now Valpo in a man-to-man defense. Again, the trap along the sideline. Cleves will find him, though. Wrong guy to put a trap on.
Hudson got it inside. Andre Hudson from Trotwood, Ohio, the Ohio High School Basketball Player of the Year.
Extremely difficult to trap an outstanding point guard.
That's Valparaiso's story. 5 turnovers and 1 of 13 from the field.
Lubos Barton is a guy that hasn't had many looks.
Nunez to Totally. Totally is picked up by Bell. To Barton on top, and Chappelle is right there with the shot clock down to 7. Crofts spinning inside. Hudson defended well, altered the shot, lead pass for Cleves. Valpo back on defense.
Well, what most people who haven't seen Michigan State play will notice first and foremost is how tough they are defensively.
Hudson the miss and Grass cleans the glass.
They don't give many teams early looks or easy looks in their offense.
Maryland an early lead on Iona. 14th seed in Arizona by 3 over 16th seed Jackson State.
Lauren Woods out for the tournament. Bad back.
7-1. He was such a presence inside for the Wildcats.
They played a lot without him towards the end of the year in one big game. Richard Jefferson back.
One of the reasons why they got the top seed. They could do it, and Cincinnati had trouble without Kenyon Martin. Thus, they fell to a 2 seed. 14-3. Top seed in the Midwest. Michigan State on top. They finished the season number 2 in one poll, number 5 nationally in another. And a foul called down low on, I think it was A.J. Granger, or was it Jenkins?
Like Jenkins holding the jersey.
Jenkins got it.
Well, I would suspect Valpo will jump back in the 2-3 zone in a hurry. Much tougher guarding this quicker, bigger, faster Spartan team man-to-man.
David Thomas is in. The field goal story for both teams tonight. A lot of shots, very few hits with 9.5 to play in the half.
Spartans a perfect 4-4 from the foul line. They've been able to get to the free throw line, knock it in.
That's their lead of 11. Their biggest lead tonight. Back in the zone.
Effective early against a Spartan team.
Peterson with the miss, and Mo Peterson is their big gun, is 1 of 4 from the field.
Mo Pete probably needs a couple fast breaks to get him going. A couple open floor buckets.
He's an acrobatic player. Exactly right. Barton to Cross to Nunez. Outside to Jenkins. Picked up by Granger behind the back. It startled John here. 13 seconds to shoot.
Granger didn't move, though.
And he didn't at all. It was great.
Solid defense once again.
5 to shoot. Nunez in traffic outside Jenkins. Rejected by Granger. Picks it up and feeds now to Cleves, who spoon feeds Peterson.
Well, we talked about the ability to push and the ability of Cleves to find open players, and Mo Peterson was the second of players on the left side. He just trailed it in, laid it home.
Michigan State beginning to roll. Their opponent, Valparaiso, 1 of 16 from the field. Michigan State was in the Final Four last year, and Valparaiso has the unenviable task of taking them on today. This is the Cinderella from 2 years ago. Valparaiso, the 13th seed into a Sweet 16 berth a couple years ago. And Homer Drew had his son Bryce Drew on that team, and they send shockwaves through college basketball. But so far today, in the beginning of the NCAA tournament, John Sunvold, not a single upset, but a close call. Kentucky taking 2 overtimes to beat St. Bonaventure.
And a lot of close ball games so far today. LSU surviving a pesky Indian ball club from Colorado, Missouri.
Yep. Southeast Missouri State. Martin to Vujic. And they rotate to totally on top for 3. Another miss, and Valparaiso is 1 of 17. David Thomas feeds to Cleves, who goes behind his back twice. The second time to Thomas. Ballinger with the ball. Finds himself uncovered. Back to the man-to-man.
Back to man-to-man. Homer Drew trying to find something somewhere. Maybe they can pick off a pass, get something on the other end.
Michigan State is a meager 5 of 15 from the floor. They're no better.
Well, it started okay defensively for Homer Drew. They just can't convert on the other end.
Hudson, the former high school quarterback. Ballinger following up nicely inside for the Spartans.
Well, another big body that comes in off the bench. 6'9", 245, 250. The freshman. A lot of muscle and strength for Tom Izzo.
They had a wonderful bench.
They really do. A variety of different players. Strength, got guys who can shoot it, athletic.
Vujic inside called for the turnover on the travel, and that is the 6th turnover for Valparaiso. The Spartans have 2 and lead it by 15.
Greg Gumbel and Clark Kellogg in New York, while Homer Drew's Crusaders try to get untracked against Michigan State. Let's show you what's happening elsewhere around the country. In Tucson, Gonzaga and Louisville, that's a one-point game, and the Bulldogs are not at all intimidated by the 7th-seeded Cardinals.
Exactly. And this game, to me, Greg, is a classic matchup of speed versus size. Gonzaga has a couple of guys 6'10" or better that can do work inside. Louisville, not very deep and a lot smaller, but quicker. So I look for this game to continue to go back and forth based on which team can force their will and best execute their style.
That's exactly what it's been, back and forth, but neither of these teams has been shy coming out of the gate, as we sometimes see teams in the tournament.
Well, you talk about Gonzaga. I mean, they've got a senior-dominated team, and Louisville much the same way. Their key players are all upperclassmen and are ready to play in tournament play.
Louisville coming in at 19-11, Gonzaga at 24-8. And right now it's a one-point game. Gonzaga with the lead on Louisville. At the Metrodome in Minneapolis, Iona has fallen behind Maryland in a big way, and it's now a 20-4 Terps lead.
Well, Maryland has dominated the glass, and Iona has struggled to make shots. Only 2 of 10 to start the game from the floor. Maryland has only given them 1 shot, and they've also pounded the offensive glass.
Looking at the score, Clark, you'd be surprised that Danny Miller hasn't played in this game.
He's a starter for him, plays about 32, 33 minutes a game, and yet Maryland, in the midst of an 18-2 run, clicking on all cylinders without him.
You and I always talk about experience. I'm sure that Maryland likes the fact that they've been to the Sweet 16 last couple of years.
Exactly. Gary Williams has done an outstanding job with that program since he's been there over the last 11 years. And Lonnie Baxter and Juan Dixon, first-team All-ACC performers as sophomores.
The Gales, coached by Jeff Rulin, come in with a 20-10 record, but they fall behind 20-4 in the first half. In Salt Lake City, Jackson State and the Arizona Wildcats, this is a 15-15 tie.
Well, Arizona has really struggled to score the basketball. They've played a bit in a fog, and Jackson State has been able to take advantage of that. Despite 9 turnovers early on, Jackson State hanging with the Cats.
Yeah, 7 different Arizona players have scored thus far, as Jackson State has shown absolutely no fear of the top seed in the West. They come up on 6 minutes to play, and Jackson State and Arizona in a 15-15 tie. Let's get you back to the CSU Convocation Center in Cleveland to Kevin Harlan and John Sunvold.
5:35 here in the first half. Valparaiso has scored a bit here. Michigan State's lead is down to 20-8. It's been as high as 17. So a little 5-0 run here by the Crusaders. Richardson to Ballinger. And Cleves, who missed a lot of games early in the season with an injury, and could not hold on to his Big Ten Player of the Year status. Launching a 3. Oh, and he banks it in.
Shakes his head, knows he didn't call it. A little inconsistent with a jump shot at times. Mateen usually knocks in the big ones when he has to.
This game, he says, is almost back to where it was. It's taken him a while to get that rhythm and get that tempo back. But
well, you mentioned 2-time Player of the Year this year. Mo Peterson and A.J. Guyton split that award. Coaches voted for Mo Peterson. Media voted for A.J. Guyton.
You really can't.
Outstanding season.
You can't complain with either choice.
A.J. carried that ball club on his shoulders, really.
Stovall with the miss. Peterson with the rebound. Quick trigger to Cleves. Hold on for Richardson, up high and down hard. A spectacular play for the Spartans, who build their lead 25-8. Now down to 4:21 to play here in the first half. That has the crowd rocking as Price was jousting against Richardson. And a foul.
You want to know about Spartan basketball? It's solid defense. It's the push of the ball. Cleves, eyes up, head up. We talked about Richardson playing above the rim. Well, look at this pass. Just throw it in the vicinity. This young guy can get it.
Outstanding leaper is Richardson, just a freshman from Saginaw. Ballinger picked up the foul. And that's his first of the game. Nunes with the ball. Price over to Stovall and back to Nunes. Zone defense by Michigan State.
Well, from the underneath out of bounds, they will do that.
Inside to Crafts. And with a very heady feed to Vujic.
Well, the young freshman Graf, has a good touch about the basketball. He's been a good passer a couple times down there.
15-point lead for Michigan State, the top seed here in the Midwest. Third time they've been a #1 seed in the 90s. And into this tournament, Peterson.
Says a lot about what Tom Izzo is building and has built under his regime at Michigan State.
5 years as a longtime assistant under Judd Heathcote. Stovall to Price, and looking for Rytis Graf, who shuffles across the lane and count it. Graf, who played for the Latvian junior national team, the Junior World Championships in Portugal last year, with a lot of European experience.
Well, we've seen his ability to make the passes inside, and now he finishes it himself. Well, you can tell this young guy's got some big feet on him, 6'10", only 215 pounds. You know he will add some more muscle throughout his collegiate career.
One of the interesting things, this kid from Latvia, also kids from the Czech Republic, is they don't get these games on television, but the way they do keep track of this is through the internet. They dial up cbs.sportsline.com and get it off there. We have a timeout. 16th seed Valparaiso began the game 1 of 17 from the floor. Now they've hit 4 of their last 5 shots, 25-13. Michigan State leads, and State's biggest lead tonight has been 17. Coming up on the Pennzoil at the half, Greg Gumbel and Clark Kellogg will get you updated on all the tournament news, all the scores. A lot of close games today, plus a live look in at all the action going on in the NCAA tournament. That's all coming up on Pennzoil at the half from New York. Michigan State coming in with the record of 26-7 and their 3rd consecutive Big Ten title. And approaching 3 minutes to play here in the first half. Cleves to Chappelle to Granger and inside to Hudson. And Richardson for 2.
Got terrific set play against his own defense out of the timeout. But Granger running the baseline, he got to the corner inside, and then once the ball came in one side, you go out the other, get the open jump shot.
Nunes, Vujic, and Torrance Price feeding to Crofts inside, and the ball knocked away. Valparaiso from the Mid-Continent Conference, winning the Mid-Continent tournament to get in this NCAA tournament.
Interesting about the Mid-Con this year, actually won by Oakland, the regular season conference. Oakland out of Rochester, Michigan. It was their first year. Greg Campy, coach of the year in the league, their first year they weren't eligible for tournament play. So Valpo got the bye because they had a 2nd place tie, UMKC, Southern Utah. Valpo got the bye the first round, only had to play 2 days, but beat Southern Utah in the tournament championship.
Mike Chappelle the miss. Vujic and Richardson collide, and Richardson will pick up the foul for Michigan State. And timeout on the floor with 2:22 to play in the first half. First round Midwest Regional from Cleveland. Top seed Michigan State on top. Valparaiso comes in as the least experienced team in this NCAA tournament, showing it early, but now kind of settling down a little bit, trailing top seed Michigan State 27-13.
Obviously it bodes well for the future. Not a senior amongst the starters for Homer Drew. They walk in and they knew the task would be tough playing Michigan State. As we said earlier, a lot of experts predicting the Spartans to go the Final Four, win a national championship.
So the 3 frontline players, all from Eastern Europe. Cross with the ball right now. Vujic, who has it inside the circle, and Martin, who's inside the lane. The Eastern Bloc is what they call it.
Well, big, tall guys. Vujic, along with Price, the only seniors on the squad.
Shot clock down to 5. Price looping one up, barely grazed the rim. Chappelle hits the deck to save it, and Granger will give it off to Cleves with 1:42 to play in the first half. And Cleves wants a timeout. Michigan State using their first of the half, and a commanding 27-13 lead. Michigan State is led by as many as 17 for the game. They're shooting just 41%. But Valparaiso shooting 20%. Here's our data bank look. At the number of times this year's #1 seeds have been seeded #1. Michigan State 3 times, including last year. Stanford once, Arizona this year, and 3 previous times, and of course Duke with a litany of success out of Durham. Tom Izzo has certainly picked up where Judd Heathcote left off. I mean, a great tradition for him to take over, and of course he was the longtime 12-year assistant for Heathcote. And he's Lansing. You see the points off the bench in Valparaiso and MSU.
Last year, the run in the tournament to the Final Four, beaten by Duke by 14 in the semifinal.
Shot clock at 7. Cleves tries to beat it and does with a nice mid-range jump shot off the baseline.
Mateem's a little better on the mid-range shot probably than the long bomb. He shoots a very flat jump shot.
Cleves, the all-time Michigan State Big Ten assist leader. All-time Michigan State steals leader. Great feed inside cross, getting it from Kulich.
Talk about Mateem, the all-time leading assist man. He only had a small number 20 against Michigan. Set a Big Ten record. How about that football game? 20 assists. You know what that means? Your teammates are putting it through the hole.
That's right. You're playing a true point guard.
Exactly right.
Cleves from Flint, Michigan. Behind his back, trying to get by Totally. Shot clock down to 11. Cleves again beat the shot clock last time. Can't beat it this time with the long-range shot. Totally is there. And 25 seconds to play in the first half.
Valpo play for 1 shot. Homer Drew off the bench.
Barton double team.
Got plenty of time to kick it back out and wait.
Watch Grass on that left block. He has scored or assisted on 4 of the last 5 Valpo baskets. Final seconds ticking off here in the first half. Stovall to Barton for 3 and a miss right there. Rebound is clutched onto inside by Hudson. And that would have been good had it gone by Cleves, and we are at halftime. A nightmarish beginning, 1 of 17 from the field for Valparaiso. But Homer Drew saw his team come back and go 5 of 9 to come to within a 29-15 reach of Michigan State. Let's go to Debbie Antonelli.
Thank you, Kevin. Coach, you got a 14-point lead. What'd you like in the first half?
Well, I like the way we were working about the middle of the first half till maybe the 5-minute mark. I thought we were in a good stretch. Then we started giving up some easy shots. Early, I didn't think we executed very well on offense, and they did a good job on defense.
Coach, thank you very much. Good luck in the second half. Kevin?
All right, Debbie, thank you very much. And so Greg Gumbel, Michigan State, the top seed, having won 14 of their last 16 on top, 29-15.
All right, Kevin, and now let's send you right over to Salt Lake City, Utah at the John M. Huntsman Center, where Jackson State trails the Wildcats of Arizona 25-20. Let's join Craig Bolerjack and Barry Booker.
2:11 left here in Salt Lake City in the first half. Arizona, the #1 seed, on the 16th seed, Jackson State. Jackson State in blue, Arizona in white. Bradley with 6 points. Wessel off the bench for 6. Tight ball game from start to this point. 2:11 remaining. Around the rim and right. He gets it to fall. 6 points for Michael Wright. It's been tight from the start. Jackson State with a lot of emotion, Barry Booker, to start this game. They hit a bit of a wall, but picked things back up.
They've gotten it going again, and Jackson State has size and depth, and it's giving Arizona a little bit of trouble. Jackson State, a bunch of turnovers, though, allowing Arizona to extend to this 6-point lead.
Arizona will rotate 7 players. They will not have the services of Lauren Woods. He's out for this tournament with back trouble. So all 7 of these players will have to put a lot of minutes in this tournament. Wessel jumps it. Little strong rebound to Jackson State. Well, they hustle to the boards. Lawrence Myers, 5'11", got the board. Feeds inside. Got the rebound. Timmy Marks drives. From the corner, it's Myers. Loose ball, and again, they're swarming after it. Way off the mark was Marks.
Jackson State, a poor 3-point shooting team, only 25% on the season. Their game is to power it inside to their big 7-footers.
Gardner flips to Anderson. Jumper right down the middle. Anderson with his first bucket, 4 points. They're 0 for 7, by the way. Jackson State from behind the 3-point line.
And Arizona is starting to take control of this ball game with some good mid-range jump shooting. Arizona, a very fine field goal shooting club, and taking charge here. They haven't been able to get in transition with their great guards, Gardner and Arenas, but in the half-court setting, hitting their shots of late.
All 7 players have scored for Arizona. Wright was 6. Wessel off the bench was 6.
Out of bounds, Jackson State ball.
Out of bounds, it will belong to Jackson State with 5 seconds left on the shot clock.
Good job by the big guys for Arizona. Wessel coming over. Wessel has played such a good first half, making big plays for Arizona.
Inbounds pass up high. Pulled it down was Walker. Off the mark, Wessel the rebound. Arizona will work for the final shot of the half.
Up by 8 already, looking to go up by 10 or more here in the final seconds of the first half.
Close ball game, broken open here a bit in the final minute and a half by Arizona. Gardner took steps, turnover.
Gardner really hasn't gotten untracked. A tough first half, only 1 for 6 for him.
Jackson State with a chance, 3.7 seconds, and the buzzer wouldn't go. Taking it coast to coast was Marino Chico Walker out of Lorman, Mississippi. So close. 28-20, Arizona, the #1 seed in the West, leading the 16th seed, Jackson State Tigers. That ends the first half. 28-20. Greg Gumbel and Clark Kellogg will be along with Pennzoil at the half right after these messages.
2 more in the Midwest taking place. Clark and I have scores and live action coming right up.
CBS Sports presents Pennzoil at the half. Sponsored by Pennzoil. Specially formulated for today's stop-and-go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil.
Hi, everyone. Welcome once again to Pennzoil at the half. Greg Gumbel along with Clark Kellogg in our studios in New York at halftime. The Wildcats leading Jackson State by a score of 28-20. What do you think as you watch this game?
Well, Jackson State has enough depth and speed to give Arizona some problems, but they've been so careless with the ball, they're really fortunate to be only down 8. And Arizona, I think, will make some adjustments in the second half, clamp down a bit, and push this out to double digits.
All right, Clark. Meanwhile, in Tucson, West Region first-round action there. Gonzaga with a 1-point lead on the Louisville Cardinals. Under 2 minutes to play in the first half. Let's go to Gus Johnson and Dan Bonner.
1-point game. Zags on top of the Cardinals. 1:40 to go in the first half of play. Gonzaga seeded 10th. Louisville seeded 7th.
And it has been a thoroughly entertaining basketball game thus far. Gonzaga shooting the ball very well. Louisville forcing some turnovers. Each team scoring well on the offensive end.
Tony Williams lays it in with the left hand. He has 9 points.
A lot of easy opportunities on the inside thus far for Louisville, and that's been a big story in this ball game.
Calvary wheeling. Foul. Casey Calvary, second leading scorer on this team, averaging 13 points a game. And a look at the game summary.
We've talked about each team playing very well on the offensive end. The turnovers for Gonzaga, a big story. That really helped Louisville stretch out to a lead, but Gonzaga with their 3-point shooting light that lead out almost immediately.
Calvary gets the first free throw. Nate Johnson picked up his 3rd. 9th team foul against Louisville with 1:09 to go in the first half of play. This young man, the star for the Zags last year as they defeated Florida.
So Louisville and Gonzaga, 37-37 tie as the first half winds down. These are pretty good ball clubs, both of them.
It's the size and shooting of Gonzaga versus the slashing ability of Louisville.
All right, Clark, and in Minneapolis, Iona and Maryland, that game with 3:47 to play in the first half, the Terps own a 36-21 lead. Want to remind you our next round of games coming up right around 10 p.m. Eastern Time will feature Fresno State, Wisconsin, St. Louis, Utah. How about St. John's in northern Arizona? And Ball State will play 6th seed UCLA. A timeout, then we'll return you to your game in Cleveland, Valparaiso, Michigan State, right after this.
Pennzoil at the half has been sponsored by Pennzoil. Specially formulated for today's stop-and-go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil.
And the #1 seed in the Midwest, Michigan State, on top 29-15 over Valparaiso. Kevin Harlan alongside John Sunvold. It could be a lot worse than 14 points.
It could be, Kevin. Michigan State outstanding defensively. Valpo obviously has to find a way to get the ball in the basket.
And moments ago, Debbie Antonelli caught up with Valpo coach Homer Drew.
Thank you, Kevin. Coach, you're down by 14. What do you need to do to get in the game?
We need to execute our offense much better, Deb. You have to compliment Michigan State. They did a wonderful job on defense and making it hard shots, and we couldn't get anything on the inside. We've got to execute our offense much better and pass the ball better.
Coach, thank you. Good luck in the second half. Kevin?
Thank you, Debbie. What a wonderful man Homer Drew is. I mean, he's been to 6 consecutive NCAA tournaments, and he's just had a wonderful run at that school, as you see some of the numbers through the first 20 minutes of our game here.
Well, Homer Drew made a comment about executing on the offensive end, and that's true. What's happened, though, they've had some open looks. They haven't converted. They haven't made the shot, and that's really finishing off the execution of running solid plays. And we'll see if their confidence can get going. If they can knock in a couple, they finish the half strongly. Made some jump shots.
Valpo going for their 7th consecutive 20-win season coming into tonight, 19-12. And here we go. Starting the second half, and Barton missing from outside. Charlie Bell to Cleves, and inside to Hudson, and all over him was Ritus Crofts.
And Barton is the guy that has to get it going for this Valpo team. Had an early look, had an easy look on the corner. Only 1 of 6 in the first half. Now he misses his first open one in the second half.
It's a young team. We expect to see Valpo here for the next couple of years with the kids they've got on here. A lot of sophomores. Peterson to Bell. Peterson quiet in the first half. Hudson on top. Zone defense by Valpo.
Stayed with it, only went to man-to-man a few times the first half, but not a good matchup for them against this Michigan State team.
And 3-second violation called on Michigan State. What do you think Tom Izzo said in his locker room to his Spartans?
Well, he probably looked at him and said, boys, we're going to go the other way. No, just kidding. I think he was happy defensively. He said at the end of the half that you have to stay with it, keep your concentration.
Sounds like you've heard that line before.
Well, if you're playing well.
That's right.
I mean, you don't want to goof it up either. Sometimes the coach, you just don't want to get in the way.
Shot clock down to 13. Totally wants to work on Cleves. Barton is outside. Shot clock down to 6. Crofts inside. Double team. Saved the ball into Totally. And gets it for a second time.
Well, Grouse, again, one of the outstanding passers. That's just a freshman. Leads the team in blocks and steals, so pretty solid play.
Head first, Totally into the pool. They're still hustling. Out of bounds, it goes off Valpo.
Well, they won't quit playing, that's for sure. Homer Drew's ball club has been in a lot of games this year where they put forth the effort. Obviously, winners of 12 of the last 13 games.
Morris Peterson, who leads the team in scoring at 16 points a game, one of the top scorers in the Big Ten, now has 7. Nunes from Cross, and he'll put up a 3. May have been deflected.
You know, the tough part, for Homer Drew is to say we want to execute better, and you want to, but you're probably playing against the best defensive team in the country that shuts off all the kind of things you want to do.
And with a great rebound margin, too, one of the best in college basketball, although tonight just +2. Peterson missing the 3. Great rebound by Granger with incredible hustle. He started to begin the season, then became the 6th man, then back to a starting role.
Well, a year ago, he was all Midwest regional team in NCAA, so wants to duplicate what he did a year ago for his ball club.
And the whistle blown inside. Near the conclusion of every NCAA tournament game, we'll select the Chevrolet MVP of the game from each team. To date, Chevrolet has contributed over $8 million to the General Scholarship Funds of America's colleges and universities. A wonderful relationship with CBS and the NCAA. Our thanks to people at Chevrolet. Michigan State leading 33-17. Kevin Harlan, John Sunvold here courtside in Cleveland. First round of the Midwest Regional. And the top seed is here, Michigan State. Maryland now with the lead on Iona, the 14th seed. And Arizona by 8 at halftime over Jackson State. Another scores. Shot clock down to 12.
Boy, just not many open looks, are there?
Great defense, totally on the fly. That's the only way he could try to pry his way inside. Bell with the rebound, Cleaves in the open floor, to the hole with a beautiful finger roll.
Well, the thing you'll notice always about Mateen, head is up, eyes are up, he surveys the floor. You expect him to make the pass as a defender as you're going back, but he's 6'2", 205 strong, took it right to the rim.
Wonderful presence.
Yes, he really does.
He takes command, and that's what they need at Michigan State. And you can watch him here do his stuff. 35-17, the Spartans. Nobody's in double figures for anybody on the Valparaiso Crusaders team of the Spartans of Michigan State. Michigan State shooting 46%, Valpo 22%. Valpo began the game. Homer Truash's team go a nightmarish 1 for 17 from the field. But they survived and were down by 14 at halftime, but it begins to slip away here in the second half. 35-17, the top seed Spartans. Field goals in this half. Michigan State 75%. The drive down the lane without a single finger on Lugo Spartan.
A good move by Barton. And what's interesting, you know Tom Izzo's team will continue to play hard defensively because if they don't, he'll substitute. And most of these guys want to play minutes.
Hudson the drive, and again he was fouled. Barton was in the way and picks up the foul. That is his first of the game from the Czech Republic. Luboš Barton, Mid-Conference Newcomer of the Year, sophomore. And at the free throw line is Andre Hudson from Trotwood, Ohio, top rebounder. And last year in the NCAA tournament for Michigan State on their journey to the Final Four, where they were eventually beaten by Duke, the second leading scorer for this team in the tournament.
And getting his game on track once again, the offensive end. Last three average about 12 a game. Shooting about 67% from the field. Doesn't take a lot of shots, but he's productive when he gets the basketball.
Totally to Grops and picked up by Hudson. We have not seen Aloysius Anaganye yet. He's got a stress fraction. If they can hold him out today, they'd like to. Jenkins with a three, which rattles off. Rebound by Bell.
And look at the push. Valpo did a great job, though, getting back defensively.
They did, and Cleaves threw right into the teeth of that defense. Martin saves it. Totally drives down the lane to the hole, and a rebound by Hudson. Here comes Cleaves finding Bell at the other end. Make it Mo Peterson who puts it up and in. Peterson now is beginning to flex his offensive muscles in the second half.
The ability of Morris Peterson not only to take it to the rim, but to pull up, hit the 5 or 6 foot jump shots, shoot the threes. And the reason he's Big Ten Co-Player of the Year.
Biggest lead for Michigan State right now. Spartan works on Peterson. And a timeout with 15.5 minutes to play in the second half. Michigan State 39-19. Michigan State has their biggest lead of the night. Let's check in with Debbie Antonelli.
Thank you, Kevin. I'm with a former head basketball coach at Michigan State, head coach Judd Heathcote. Coach, this team have a little bit of that magic of the '79 team?
Well, it certainly does. Has a great point guard, Mateen Cleaves, similar to Magic Johnson. Has great inside personnel like Gregory Kelzer. I think it plays tenacious defense and great in the transition game. Sometimes struggles in the half-court offense, but all in all, I think a great basketball team.
Coach, thank you very much. Kevin?
All right, Debbie, thank you. And here comes Charlie Bell the other way for 12 years. Tom Izzo was an assistant under Judd Heathcote at Michigan State. Inside, Hudson dropped it, picked it up. Bell has it on top. Shot clock at 16 with a foul called on Valpo's Totally.
I can still remember the final, and we'll talk about Magic and Kelser, but Terry Donnelly, the left-hander,
just from St. Louis?
Yes, he was. And kept knocking in the open jump shots. And Magic's nice just giving him the ball. And outstanding defense.
They played Indiana State, and Indiana State was in the tournament today for the first time since then.
Larry Bird's ball club back then undefeated till that night.
Peterson lost it trying to go through the lane and out of bounds. His momentum carries him with about 15 minutes to play in this second half. The winner tonight will play the winner of the St. Louis-Utah game, which will follow immediately. And the first game coming up here Saturday, Kentucky will play Syracuse, two tradition-rich teams. Jenkins to Totley, followed by Richardson, who's back in the ball game, and James Jenkins from outside with the miss. Jenkins, a junior from Peoria. And starting this year after coming off the bench his freshman and sophomore years.
Spacing a little better offensively for Valparaiso. Got a tough night, though knocking it open jump shots.
Richardson doubled, and there's the foul. The king of the Midwest region. And ruling over Valpo with ease in the second half. Now the lead up to 20 points. Biggest tonight, 39-19. Ballinger picked up by Jenkins. Totally is on Bell. Bell got in some early foul trouble. Bowers back in there with the whistle and a foul blown inside. This time it goes on Vujic. Ivan Vujic from Croatia.
And for Michigan State, it's all about execution on both ends of the floor. Tom Izzo is not going to be happy coach sitting over there just saying, hey, just keep playing. He wants preparation for down the seedings.
Coming up next, Fresno State against 8th seed Wisconsin. We'll have St. Louis against Utah, Northern Illinois against Arizona, rather, against St. John's, the 2 seed St. John's. Ball State and UCLA. Big games coming up in the next segment. The final portion of our busy Thursday on CBS in the beginning of the NCAA tournament.
Jerry Tarkanian, Fresno State Bulldogs. Courtney Alexander leading scorer in the NCAA, 25 points a ball game.
Maryland by 13 at halftime. Commanding lead for Arizona as well. And Gonzaga leading 7th seed Louisville. That's somewhat of a surprise. Richardson fighting inside. Ball knocked away by Vujic. And then hits the deck. And a timeout taken by Valparaiso. 13.5 to play in the second half. And still the top seed Spartans lead by 20. Michigan State trying to make some waves in this year's tournament like they did last year. And Valparaiso did this a couple years ago. A Cinderella, a number 13 seed into the Sweet 16 with some outstanding plays. And Bryce Drew with this shot right there put him in. And that's when the reputation for this program began. And Homer Drew watched his son hit the game-winning shot. His son now is playing at the next level, and Homer continues to coach, and coach well.
Round 1, that was Ole Miss. Round 2, in overtime, they beat Florida State, and all of a sudden, Sweet 16. Valparaiso was known throughout college basketball. That's what this tournament's all about, isn't it?
Well, it is. The only school in the country to win its conference championship in each of the last 6 years. That's how they've advanced to this NCAA field of 64.
Last year was a 15 seed, ousted by Maryland. First round, 82-60.
Nunez to Stovall. Shot clock approaching 10. Barton's on top. Vujic is in the circle and picked up by Ballinger. Cleves is on Stovall, who has to make a decision, and that's to feed the Nunez, who buries the 3 from outside.
Good penetration, good kick out, good bucket. You know, Stovall's interesting because he played a couple years at Kalamazoo and Michigan Central High School.
Mike Chappelle with a 3 at the other end. He led Duke in 3-point shooting before he transferred last year.
And Stovall played in the semifinal game in the state championship against a Flint, Michigan team, Northern High School, led by Mateen Cleves. So, got a relationship with some of the Michigan State players. They're saying hi before the ball game.
And Vujic converts inside. Well, of course, the story about the city of Flint is well known. The city was going through some tough times, the closing of the GM plant. And Cleves inside to Richardson, who contorts his body, but can't angle in the shot. And coming up with it inside is Cross. Stovall for 3. Cleves is right there. One of the stones. Chappelle at the other end saves it nicely. Tried to hesitate, then was handcuffed inside by Barton.
Well, the lead pass by Cleves. The last time down, I think he had a little lob set up for Richardson. Richardson didn't see it till it was too late.
But that's where a lot of these kids and the great athleticism of Flint has come to fruition. Andre Rison was from Flint, Michigan, and he was a great football player and basketball player there. And of course, these 3 kids here came at a time when the city was going through some very tough economic times. These kids, Glenn Rice in there. In fact, Charlie Bell, who is on this team and really hasn't made a lot of waves tonight, passed Glenn Rice's city scoring record. All in Flint. So they've produced some outstanding athletes. And Stovall twirling and corkscrewing his way down court. Got a shot away and drew the foul, but the defending Spartans, who have prided themselves on defense all season long. Number 11 nationally is Michigan State in defense. As you take a look at Milo Stovall from Kalamazoo.
Only a sophomore. Solid player. Kind of a slasher type player. Most athletic on this Valpo team. Likes to put it on the floor. Can shoot the open jump shot if he has to.
John, you played in so many of these NCAA tournaments as David Thomas, one of the best players to come out of Toronto a couple years ago, checks in for Mike Chappelle. What kind of temperament did you feel as a player when you played with Steve Stavanovich and Norm Stewart at Missouri that you had to have in these early round games when you were so heavily favored?
Tell you when we get back. How's that?
Oh, I can't wait. 20 points has been the biggest Michigan State lead tonight, now on top 42-25. And before the game, we showed you the three kids from Flint, Cleves, Bell, and Peterson. And not a single Spartan in double figures. And if anyone were to be in double figures, it would be one of these three.
Well, they haven't had to score a bunch of points yet tonight. Comfortably ahead by 17. And Tom Izzo rotating a lot of players in and out. Nobody's gotten on a roll for either team.
Cleves, Granger, Thomas, Hudson, and Richardson now at the ball in there for Michigan State. Double teamed by Totley, along with Torrance Price. And the foul is called on Stovall.
So interesting, though, the preparation for Tom Izzo's ball club. The zone defense, they put one guy on the top, defensively Valpo, and then one guy was behind him. They invite the lead pass to go to the wing, and when it does, then there's the trap. So his team is preparing for something they may see down the road.
Richardson with the miss. Valparaiso, by the way, is out of timeouts. 4 remain for the Spartans. We've got 11.5 minutes to play in the second half. Stovall off to Nunes, whose dad played at the University of Minnesota. Was a captain of that team years ago. A pass inside as they try to get it into Crofts. And a foul as Maryland now pulling on top of 14th seed Iona. Later tonight, UCLA.
Should be a good matchup there.
I think so, yeah. I agree. And then we're going to have a good one, too, with number 8.
That will be physical. Defensive battle.
St. Louis is already the Cinderella, having to win 4 games in 4 days just to make it to the field of 64.
Conference USA swept through that league in the tournament.
Wisconsin
as a 9 seed in that, and now they're 9 seed here.
Nice. With the zone in effect, it's inside to Vujic and out of bounds as he fumbles it away. And turnover, number 8 for Valparaiso, just 6 for Michigan State. Michigan State beat Illinois in the Big Ten postseason tournament in Chicago this past weekend.
Handled them easily, too.
Illinois really picked up steam second half of the season, didn't they?
Solid ball club, dangerous in this tournament.
Thomas was whacked as he went up high, and a foul is called.
Actually a block, clean block. Vujic from the side.
Vujic thought he was guilty. Let's watch it again.
They'll take a look. The zone defense trapping. They've got to recover, and Vujic clean block.
From behind. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Granger quickly double teamed. Hudson on top. Gets it off to Cleves. Thought about 3. And they'll reset. Shot clock moving down to 10. Cleves splitting the defense. Driving inside, and it won't go. Vujic is up there and hailing the rebound. And at the other end, Torrance Price with that long, high arch, lazily falling to the side. Thomas has it, and a traveling violation is called on David Thomas.
Well, Price's jump shot, as they would say, can draw rain. That thing is way up in the sky.
It almost looks like it's in slow motion.
Yeah, it really does. It looks like it's going to be short every time he shoots it.
And here's Thomas moving the feet. Shuffle in. 42-25. Valparaiso 10 of 40. That's 25% shooting from the floor.
Good help right there.
Nice feed to Vujic. Glass tried to tap it in. Can't get it to go. Granger with some heady defensive play to block him out. Finally gets the rebound. And here comes Thomas to Cleves for three. And Vujic hits the deck hard.
Well, you said Granger made a heady play. I think he took an elbow to the back of the head on that rebound defensively.
Walking out and trying to stake his claim for turf inside underneath. 4 fouls called on Hudson. Hudson will leave. Ballinger will come back in.
Yeah, I'll take a look at the big guys wrestling. Vujic with the elbow to Hudson's head. And then Andre said, we'll have none of that.
10 minutes to play here in the second half. Cleves gets it on the turnover by Stovall. And Mo Peterson is back in. Ballinger the screen. Alley-oop for Peterson and knocked away. Grass has it. Here comes Jenkins galloping the other way for Valparaiso. And Cleves will stop him in his tracks.
Might have been a difficult pass to see. He didn't throw it high enough so that Mo Peterson could visually see it over the defense.
That's a good point.
Kind of just appeared he threw a bullet.
Martin with the deceptive move by Peterson, but was short on the shot. And they blow a whistle inside with a foul. Assessed Ballinger of Michigan State. And he's got 3. 1 point scored in the last 3 minutes.
Well, the game becoming more physical. Spartans used to that. Big Ten play is as physical as any conference.
Here's Rytis Grass, who speaks 3 languages, Latvian, Russian, and English. And when he came out of Latvia, he was a freshman at 6'10". He was one of the top big men out of Europe. And he told the story back in the first half, where Homer Drew's son Scott goes overseas to the Eastern European sector and recruits these big kids to come and play at his school.
I like this Groff's kid. Got a good feel of how to play, only a freshman. Obviously, you know he's going to get bigger and stronger.
Cleves to Peterson.
A lot of things, Kevin, you can't teach is softness of the hands, the touch, the way to pass, the softness of the feel of the game. He has that. Just needs to add a little bit of strength to his game.
And the experience of playing in the tournament as a freshman, big 2. Cleves with the miss. Ranger tries to snare it and falls out of bounds with the ball. Cleves tonight has gone 3 of 9, 7 points, 7 assists. And again, we've got just under 9 minutes remaining in the game. Not a single player from either team is in double figures scoring. Rebounding advantage +4 for Michigan State.
Groff's picked up the blocking foul, trying to set a screen.
Auburn winning today. It's the other Southeast Conference team, 72-69 over Creighton. Iowa State with, as we said earlier, perhaps the best player in the tournament, Marcus Fizer, winning by 10. And the most exciting games was right here in a double overtime Kentucky win over St. Bonaventure. And Syracuse beat Samford just after that Kentucky win. So Syracuse and Kentucky will play here. First game on Saturday afternoon.
And Syracuse looked good.
They did look good.
Defensively, offensively, Jason Hart simply took control.
Gonzaga leading Louisville by 4, 49-45. We were in Seattle, you and I were, John, last year, and that's where Gonzaga began their huge run through the Pacific Northwest. Thomas missing the second try. Jenkins tried to save it. We're going to say it's off of A.J. Granger of Michigan State. And they bring back in Charlie Bell and Jason Richardson. Leaving will be Ballinger and Thomas. And again, we have not seen Aloysius Anaganye tonight. The stress fracture, he could play, but in a game like this, why not rest him for Saturday?
He's missed the last 2 weeks. They won the Big Ten tournament without him. Rest him another ball game. See if they'll need him on Saturday.
Martin lost it. Vacuumed in by Peterson. Feeds to Cleves. And a whistle and a foul. That's a great combination because Cleves and Peterson born 12 days apart in Flint, Michigan. They grew up in Flint, Michigan, 8 blocks apart. They went to different high schools, Cleves and Peterson did, but of course end up at the same college. And they have both made an incredible dent on this program. And here's last year's. Is going deeper into the mob than anyone's been before. Don't miss this compelling new drama, Falcone. Coming to CBS Tuesday, April 4th. 18-point Spartan lead. Stovall the drive. Shove and a foul on Charlie Bell of Michigan State. Third team all Big Ten was Bell this past year.
Does a little bit of everything for this ball club. Can score it when he has to. Solid defender. That's why he had his minutes as a freshman on this ball club, because he could defend so well, didn't make any mistakes.
Michigan State's zone defense pushes another Valpo pass away, and Cleves streaking the other end with about 8 minutes to play. Granger for three. Right between the eyes, A.J. Granger.
That's where Granger makes his mark. Steps away from the basket, faces up, knocks in the bounds.
Totally. 21-point lead for Michigan State. Biggest tonight. Good-looking rebound by the contorted Richardson. It ends up to Bell at the other end. Grimes almost knocked it away and retrieved by Bell. And back to Cleves, who reloads. Bell thought about three. The double team was on him. Valpo moving in that 2-3 zone. Cleves, another try at three. This time he knocks it down.
And as he knocked it in, he simply said yes, because he has struggled on a couple of the low ones.
2 of 6.
Yep.
And approaching 7 minutes to play here in the second half with Michigan State in complete control. Grafs double team, sandwiched in, kicks it back out to Price. They swing it to Jenkins, now to Stovall, and Richardson is on him. There's a bullet pass into Grafs, who is shoved by Granger from behind.
Well, the tough thing is, they just do not give you easy looks. Valparaiso doing everything they can on the offensive end to try to get an opening. Not many to be found.
Michigan State not only has a good team now and is the #1 seed in this tournament, they've got 2 incredible high school seniors bound for East Lansing next year. The #1 rated high school point guard in the country, Marcus Taylor from Lansing, ironically enough, and the #5 rated player overall in high school basketball out of Marion, Indiana, Zach Randolph, 6'9" forward, and that will count. At the other end, Mateen Cleves trying to finish this one in a flourish.
Well, the energizer, Mateen Cleves, the emotional leader of this ball club. You mentioned the guys coming in, the seniors leaving, Cleves, Peterson, A.J. Granger. And take a look at Mateen. Crossover dribble, the power and the strength that he has as a point guard. Take it to the rim and finish.
He had missed 13 games, Cleves did early on, with an injury to the soft tissue in the arch of his foot. But for Tom Izzo, he is beginning to flower at the right time. It's all Michigan State. Michigan State has their biggest lead, 27 points over Valparaiso, 23% shooting for Valpo. And the Spartans with a great history of outstanding athletes, and one of them here, that's Kurt Gibson, a one-time star on the Michigan State baseball and football team. And while this is March Madness, he created a little bit of October Madness with the Los Angeles Dodgers a handful of years ago.
Off Eckersley for Oakland,
right.
Game 1.
Yeah. Man.
Remember where you were? It's one of those great moments in sports.
I was taking my wife to a Lamaze class.
There you go. I was in a hotel room, Daytona Beach, playing for Miami Heat, getting ready for an exhibition game. And it's one of the great moments in sports.
Absolutely.
He's rounding first, and he starts pulling the lawnmower. You know, he starts doing that thing.
He can't even walk, and Vujic looked like he may have walked inside, but crosses the lane and comes up with 2.
A couple bad swings, holding his side, can't do anything, and then out of there.
Incredible. And he's a Spartan.
Here in Cleveland, hoping the Spartans can win 2 ball games and get to Ann Arbor. Or will that place be loud if they get to
Auburn,
I'm sorry.
Bell with the shot outside and the 3. Yeah, it's like playing in their backyard.
Yeah, would that place be loud or what?
It would be an incredible advantage for Michigan State. Nunes to Jenkins and getting it into Vujic. Guarded by Ballinger, tries to curl around him, and a traveling violation. Well, we thought he walked last time, but he certainly walked that time. And here comes Anaganye in. Aloysius Anaganye, who is a little rusty, has not played, as John just told you, in a couple weeks. Stress fracture in his right foot. He's missed 4 games, but you know, he's going to be a factor for this team.
This is one big fella.
He is huge. He's from Southfield, Michigan, and he's a freshman, 6'8", 250 pounds.
Well, we'll keep an eye on him and see how he's moving. Obviously, he must be 100% healthy for Tom Izzo to put him in. Shake a little rust off in this ball game. Good idea.
They may need him against St. Louis or Utah on Saturday. Shot clock for Cleves is down to 10. Richardson cruising his way. Chappelle, nice move.
Nice ball fake.
Sit down. Great deceptive move by Chappelle.
Well, nice ball fake. He established himself. Knocked in the open J.
He's a great shooter at Duke, but missed home, got homesick, and wanted to transfer to Michigan State, which he did, but his shot disappeared when he disappeared off the Durham campus. 56-29 is the score with about 5 to play here in the second half, and a foul called on Chappelle. Kentucky with the double overtime win over St. Bonaventure. Syracuse with an easy time over the top shooting team in the country, Samford. Samford shot horribly in the 30s today. So Kentucky, Syracuse, 5 against 4, and then Michigan State will take on the winner of Utah and St. Louis, which will follow this game.
And great matchup, Kentucky, Syracuse. The tradition for both ball clubs. Syracuse a little more impressive this afternoon than Kentucky was, but St. Bonaventure played outstanding. Jim Barron's team gave it all they had opportunity to win in regulation.
Can Michigan State, we just talked about, if they get through here, then go to Auburn Hills and play at the Palace, you think they can make the Final Four again?
Well, they're the favorite. I mean, everybody picks them. They're the favorite. It would be interesting if the bracket holds true and Iowa State is the matchup for Michigan State. Marcus Fizer is the most dominant collegiate player offensively, without a doubt.
With Kenyon Martin out, absolutely.
Well, offensively, he is even with Kenyon Martin in. Kenyon Martin did not and could not do the things that Fizer can do offensively. But it would be a great physical matchup between 2 outstanding ball players. But they've got to get there.
They've got to get there.
It won't be easy.
It will not be easy. And here comes Peterson, making it look easy down the lane. Oh, what a play by Peterson.
The softness of the touch and high off the glass.
What great detonation, too. Just takes off and explodes off that dribble.
At first, you thought at this point he may dunk it. Now he's got to split the seam to reach in, and that ball went outside the camera range and off the very top of the backboard.
There's 2 sisters who played college basketball down in Alabama. His dad played basketball and football at Alcorn State. He says as a kid growing up, some of those games in the driveway were pretty fierce.
I bet they were pretty good.
The sisters
toughened him up a little bit.
They did. That's what he said. He said, I learned basketball from my 2 sisters. You gotta be proud of her, baby brother. 59-30. Michigan State making it look easy. Valpo began the game 1 of 17 from the field, and they never recovered. And Vujic double team. Nice defense by Ballinger. Richardson is there. Richardson's just a freshman, but there he is.
Well, the thing for Valpo is a foul in the mid-con conference is probably not a foul in the Big Ten or an NCAA play. And it's frustrating for some of these players to attack the glass like Vujic did. Michigan State's going to bump you. They're going to get on you. The whistle doesn't blow. I think that becomes a little frustrating.
Michigan State also played a very tough schedule. They played the likes of Kentucky. They won at North Carolina early in the season. They played Arizona, Kansas, Texas. They destroyed UConn up in East Lansing. So they have been toughened, and I give credit to Tom Izzo, who can sit back, and he's already playing in a very difficult conference as it is, as Mateen Cleaves will leave. A very good night for him in the second half in particular. 15 points, 8 assists. And Brandon Smith, the junior from Rochester, New York, will take his place. Brandon, a backup point guard to transfer from Coastal Carolina.
Well, you mentioned that schedule, and you also said something, you know, the Big Ten Conference is tough enough to play. He added a bunch. Yeah, he added this year. He added a bunch of top quality games preseason, and they are tested this time of year.
Lubo Spartan knocking in a 3 from outside, a 33% three-point shooter. Gagne trying to set a screen. Ballinger is inside. And a timeout for Tom Izzo, who is coaching.
Still coaching.
Still coaching, even with the 61-33 lead. Hey, these are the NCAAs. Take nothing for granted. Nothing. Dominating Michigan State, the #1 seed in the Midwest, leading 61-33. The CBS Sportsline stat of the game. field goal percentage. Valparaiso on the short edge of a 45-25 difference.
Tough to win. Can't put it in the hole this game.
Get complete NCAA tournament coverage at cbs.sportsline.com. Chappelle is held in check by Stovall. Here comes the freshman Richardson. Hands to Chappelle, and he was fouled by Milo Stovall. John, I think you said it earlier. If Chappelle can reacquaint himself with the shot that he seemingly left to Duke, and like you said, the last couple games he has found the stroke. What an incredible weapon for Tom Izzo off his bench the rest of this tournament.
Well, no doubt. This is a team that sometimes, as Judd Heathcote said, struggles in half-court sets. And they've always got to find shooters, and Mo Pete is one of their best shooters, and Charlie Bell. But if Mike Chappelle can come in off the sideline, get his jumper going, because you're going to need those guys in certain games.
Timeout with 3.5 to play. Michigan State 63-33. 30-point lead for Michigan State. The biggest lead has been 31. Kevin Harlan, John Sunvold, and Debbie Antonelli here in Cleveland, Ohio. One more game to come up after this. St. Louis and Utah. Groff's inside, who's had a pretty decent night with 7 points and 7 rebounds. And a ball knocked out of bounds with 22 seconds to shoot. Team Cleaves is on the bench. His night is over. 15 points, 8 assists. Only 2 players in this game are in double figures. Peterson with 12 and Cleaves done for the night with 15. Maryland now pounding Iona. That game is almost over, and Arizona doing the same to 16th seed Jackson State. Richardson on the wing. Louisville losing by 8 to Gonzaga. And under 5 to play. Gagne, whose parents are from Nigeria. Ballinger to Richardson, and now 10 seconds to shoot.
Well, simply go one-on-one, see if he can take Barton off the dribble.
Here comes Brandon Smith, and he pops it up, and this is the shot. Leaping catch by Richardson with the whistle blown inside.
Well, Nunez got hit right across the face. The offensive move.
Foul called on Gagne. That's the first on him. Coming up next, 11 seed Ball State against 6 seed UCLA. A lot of you folks will see that. Also, Northern Arizona against St. John's, the 2 seeds. St. Louis and Utah right here in Cleveland. And 9 seed Fresno State with Jerry Tarkanian, the coach of Fresno State, against 8th seed Wisconsin.
We're going to have a good one here. St. Louis, Justin Love, explosive score. Most people haven't seen him.
Rick Majerus leading the Utes.
Ano Mentala, outstanding player, playing about 80%. Has had some injuries this season.
Under Majerus, they have never, speaking of the Utah Utes, have never lost a first-round game. They're 8-0.
And the Billikens would like to change that.
Yeah.
As a 9 seed, we talked about them last week, a 9 seed in Conference USA, and went right through that conference. 4 games in 4 days, and conference champ.
There's Nunez on the floor. His dad, Al, captain of the University of Missouri, of the Minnesota basketball team. Years ago, he was the Gatorade Minnesota Player of the Year as they take that spray and clean up the blood. There's Nunez. He was redshirted last year. Gets some assist from the Valpo staff.
Kind of forced into the point guard role this year. Greg Tonigal, who started last year, had a knee injury this summer and has not played for Homer Drew's ball club all year. Will redshirt. Actually played 5 games early, decided they couldn't go on it. They'll apply for a red shirt, so Nunez had to slide over, more comfortable in the 2-guard spot, but slid over in the point guard position.
And here's Barton hitting the first free throw. He played for the Czech Republic in the European Championship in France, recruited by Homer Drew, and you can see that note right there. Lowest point total this season, 42 points against Notre Dame. They've got 35 right now. Full court pressure, and they break it with Richardson at the other end. Nice move too by the backup point guard Brandon Smith with the ball right now. Ballinger to Smith. And
good opportunity for the reserves to get some good quality minutes for Tom Izzo. Wants him to be effective on the offensive end, play hard, solid defense.
They have the deepest team in the tournament.
They really do.
Among the one seeds.
A lot of bodies over there he can put in. We already talked about the ability to put guys in that are different types of players. The athletic kind, the big, strong kind. If Chappelle shoots a jump shot, then you got a jump shooter who can come in. Good shot.
And Lubos knocks it in from outside, the 6'8" sophomore.
Lubos now 4 of 12 from the field. Had a slow going first half, 1 of 6. Picked it up a little bit the second half.
Ballinger has it, the freshman from Bluffton, Indiana. They're battling a knee injury early part of the season. Thus you see that big bulky pad on his left knee as he walks to the right of your screen. And sets a screen, and Richardson is there. Back to Ballinger, shot clock down to 4, driving in the lane, using the glass, rebound by Chappelle, and trying to go back inside on Antti Nicola, who is just in the game, a freshman from Finland. It's a very international flavor that Valparaiso has.
Well, solid start for Michigan State.
Yep.
So, Kevin?
Great way to begin it for them as they march.
Did what they're supposed to do. You come in, handle your business.
To Indianapolis. 7 to shoot. And Ballinger off balance, puts it down.
Got a pretty solid stroke for a big guy.
Steve Cherry is in as well now for Michigan State. That shot won't hit by Stovall. 20 seconds to play. They bring it down with Brandon Smith in control. And the most lopsided game so far here in Cleveland. We'll go to the Spartans, and why not? They're the #1 seed, beating the 16th seed Valparaiso Crusaders by a count of 65-38. The Chevrolet players of the game: Marcus Grouch of Valparaiso and Mateen Cleaves of Michigan State. Those are Chevrolet players of the game. And Michigan State behind the 15 points of Cleaves, beating Valparaiso handily here tonight. So coming up, we've got Utah and St. Louis. Right now, let's send it to our New York NCAA tournament studios. Ray Gumbel and Clark Kellogg. Guys, take it away.
All right, Kevin, thanks very much. So Michigan State moves on, the top seed in the Midwest with a 65-38 victory. Let's take you to Tucson. 3:52 to play in the second half. Gonzaga and Louisville. Gus Johnson and Dan Bonner.
66-58, 3:40 to go. Gonzaga with the lead over the Cardinals. Edward baseline jumper short, tipped up and in. Looks like Johnson got his hand on it.
Actually, it looks like Richie Fromm got his hand on it too.
They give the basket to Nate Johnson, who has 14, and we have a 6-point game. Michigan State big victory this evening over Valpo. The Spartans the #1 seed in the Midwest. A Spink. He's in trouble. 13 to go. Santangelo.
Look for him to try to take it to the goal.
Santangelo off the dribble. Dennis rebound. He's fouled. And the game summary. Sterling shooting by the Zags from Gonzaga. 59%. Louisville 38% shooting. Although the Bulldogs have turned it over 23 times, but Danny, look at their three-point shooting today.
We thought before the game that Gonzaga would have to control this game with their shooting, and they certainly have done so with those 8 3-point baskets. Louisville has missed a lot of opportunities generating those turnovers and not converting them, but it has been a few possessions since Gonzaga has turned the ball over. And Dinch has really come up big tonight for Gonzaga.
Second one in and out. Edward with the rebound.
Still plenty of time for Louisville. They've just got to get it done on the offensive end. You've got to tip your hat to Mark Few. The adjustments that Gonzaga made at halftime in this zone has really caused some, those adjustments have really caused some problems for Louisville.
Williams loses it. Fromm recovers. 7-point lead for Gonzaga. The Zags want to milk some clock now.
And at the end of the clock, look for Santangelo to try to get the ball in his hands and take it to the basket.
Here's Santangelo, 10 to shoot. Dent in the low post. Across the lane.
Nice job by Brooks to knock it away.
Gaines to the basket, the runner.
Oh, that is a bad shot by Gaines.
Now Maben comes back into the game along with Quentin Bailey. 1:56 to go. 67-60. Gonzaga looking for the first upset of the NCAA tournament.
And we get a foul against Gaines. They try to trap in the corner. Louisville looks a little frustrated on the offensive end. Denny Crum's got to be concerned. Gaines that last time took the ball and tried to make a spectacular play, but that was the point in the game where you don't need a spectacular play. You need a solid, good shot at the basket, not a runner trying to float it up over a 6'11" guy.
He is a freshman.
And a very good-looking freshman at that.
No question about it. Fromm makes the first one. 27 points for Richie Fromm. Make it 28. 69-60, largest lead of the game for the Zags.
And that's Fromm's high point total for the year's previous high was 27.
And he grabs a rebound.
He's done about it all. Rebound, shot the ball, even blocked the shot.
28 points, 7 boards. Fromm, the kick out.
Santangelo trying to back it out.
Here's Santangelo, the hanger. And Edward with the rebound. Now Brooks. Maben. He's fouled.
And Gonzaga not really executing on the offensive end down the stretch.
So the foul called on Casey Calvary is fourth. And Maben at the line.
Richie Fromm's career high is 37 points, and it doesn't look like he's going to get that tonight.
First free throw for Maben, good. He had 37 at Memphis in '98 in the NIT.
In preseason NIT. This is what Gonzaga doesn't want. You don't like your opponent to be able to creep closer to you while the clock is stopped. Now Louisville gets it back to 7, and they've got the opportunity to get a turnover.
Fromm up the sideline. Gonzaga, as Danny mentioned, not a great free throw shooting team, only 66%. However, Fromm over 80%. And here's Santangelo. He will step to the line to shoot 2.
Santangelo, for all the things he does for Gonzaga, is not one of their better free throw shooters, only 64% on the season. But he does have 2 shots. You know, Gus, what you expect this guy to do, Santangelo I'm talking about, is you see Johnson come back in the game. You expect Santangelo to make plays, the experienced senior. And that's what he's doing right now. Draws the foul and going to the line.
Both good.
Probably shoots a little better than 65% when he's trying to put the game away.
Now Maben picks it up. Maben drives the baseline, turns it over. And Santangelo fouled.
And that may be enough. Tony Williams on the bench, a very frustrating second half.
The Zag fans are here. The Sports Information Department sold 650 tickets, about 400 more walk-ups, so they have about 1,000 strong in attendance.
That's a lot of noise for 1,000 folks.
And Edward called for his 5th foul. He fouls out of the game.
And Denny Crum taking the full allotment of 30 before he makes the substitution.
All right, stay put. 2 shots. 2 shots.
Gus, in the first half, Louisville got inside that Gonzaga's zone defense, got some easy baskets. In fact, Louisville scored 15 baskets in the first half. They had 14 assists, a lot of easy baskets. The adjustments made at halftime by Gonzaga may have been the key to this game.
These two teams shared one common opponent, Maven to the basket, Cincinnati. With Gonzaga losing to Cincinnati, 75-68. Louisville losing twice, 75, as the ball almost hit me in my face. 75-65 and 68-59. And the Chevrolet most valuable players of the game. No secret from Gonzaga, Richie Fromm. From Gonzaga, 28 points. He's at the line shooting 2 right now. And 6 rebounds. Marcus Maven, 19 and 2. Young man grew up idolizing Larry Bird. As a matter of fact, he's so much like Bird that he doesn't even like to talk to the media. But I tell you what, he definitely can shoot it like it. 39 seconds remaining. Gonzaga leading Louisville, and the Zags trying to advance to the 2nd round of the NCAA tournament in that kind of night for the Cardinals.
Plenty of opportunities created by the Louisville defense, but their offense abandoned them, particularly in the second half.
Louisville 37% shooting, as Maven adds that one. 73-66. And a whistle. 30-second timeout. 28.3 remaining. Gonzaga up 73-66. But this one may be a little too late for him.
Gonzaga needs to get the ball inbounds, and they still are permitted to run the baseline after the score by Louisville. Just because they called a timeout doesn't mean they lose the ability to run the baseline. But the important thing for Gonzaga now is to get the ball inbounds. A steal by Louisville on a 3-pointer quickly could make these last 28 seconds very interesting.
And guess who they get it to? From Louisville. They have to foul Fromm in the front court. Calvary! The Gonzaga Bulldogs, seeded 10th, pull off the first upset of the NCAA tournament. They will knock off Louisville and wait for the winner of St. John's, Northern Arizona. Richie Fromm. And he crosses the half-court line. That should do it. Fromm fouled again. And the bracket here in Tucson. The first upset of the day. Gonzaga knocks off Louisville, and they'll play the winner of the St. John's Northern Arizona game, which follows this one. Fromm with 30 points. Richie Fromm, 9 of 14, 4 of 8 from the three-point line, 8 of 12 from the free throw line. And now they give Santangelo, Calvary, and Dent a nice hand as they head to the bench. Fromm again. 31. And now he'll take a seat.
What a basketball game that young man played tonight. Wow.
Brooks misses, and that's it. The Gonzaga Bulldogs survive and advance. 77-66. Now let's go to New York and Greg Gumbel.
All right, Gus, so the Bulldogs win it by 11. Meanwhile, in Minneapolis, they're coming down to the wire, 15 seconds to play. Iona and Maryland. Let's take you to the Metrodome. Vern Lundquist and Bill Raftery for the final seconds of Maryland's victory.
74-57, 15.5 left in this one. And the Iona Gales are going to conclude their season with a 20-11 record. Maryland advances as the number 3 seed, and they improved their record to 25-9.
The big difference we mentioned, the rebounding, the field goal percentage, and Kirksey keeps lighting it up, going to the rim. 9 seconds, 24 points, not a bad performance, as expected by Tariq.
But a very convincing victory for the Terrapins of Maryland. Maryland advances. Jeff Rulin with congratulations for Gary Williams. A very convincing victory and a final night for Tariq Kirksey. 74-59. Greg Gumbel, Clark Kellogg. We'll be back with you after these messages.
Back to our studios in New York, everyone. Greg Gumbel along with Clark Kellogg. We're not finished yet. This is still to come here on CBS this evening. Fresno State, Wisconsin, St. Louis against Utah, Northern Arizona, 2nd seed St. John's, 11th seed Ball State against the UCLA Bruins. Now, to recap the games that just took place here this evening. First of all, in the Midwest Regional in Minneapolis, Maryland rolls with a 74-59 victory over Iona. In Tucson, the Gonzaga Bulldogs with the first upset of the tournament. The number 10 seed knocks off 7th seed Louisville, 77-66. Jackson State fell to the top seed in the West. Arizona, 71-47 was the final score. And Michigan State, the top seed in the Midwest, rolled over Valparaiso, 65-38. Tomorrow night in prime time, 11th seed Pepperdine takes on 5th seed Indiana in the East region. Tip time is set for about 10 p.m. Eastern time. On the eve of the NCAA tournament, Neil Reed, a player who transferred out of Indiana 3 years ago, accused his former coach Bob Knight of choking him at practice, among other things. A short time ago, Knight addressed the accusation.
I mean, I don't know if people understand this. A kid that was voted off the team by returning players by an 8-0 vote. I've probably have done close to 1,000 things to motivate kids as individuals or teams, and I'll guarantee you that a lot of them I wouldn't want to talk about at a church social or the PTA meeting or a garden party. But we're not teaching kids how to play canasta. I mean, this is a game where kids get bloody noses. The last time that I saw Isaiah Thomas was in November. He grabbed a hold of my shirt and he looked me in the eye and he said, "Coach, don't you ever change. I needed you and kids need you. Don't change." So I don't think I will.
When Reed left the team 3 years ago, he made some general claims about Knight's physical and mental abuse, but the university rejected them. Now that Reed has provided some specifics, the university says it plans to investigate the matter again. We have more NCAA basketball coming your way right now. Those of you expecting St. Louis and Utah, we will send you off to Cleveland for that game. Everyone else, we will send you to Salt Lake City for Fresno State and Wisconsin, and then we will get you to the tip of your game as it begins. Thanks for joining us. All of that comes your way right after this message and a word from your local station.